So I've saved some animal files, photographs that I think could be the reference image or starting image for the tracing. And I have a document here that has some varying types of image trace, just so that you can understand what it does for other contexts, not just for our animal accordion book project. I have the starting photograph, and then I have some variations of tracing where it's taking what was originally pixels and it's turning it into point-based shapes, though right now it's still in sort of an in-between. It has decided where will it be this gray versus this darker gray, and if I'm ready to commit, I'm going to be able to expand this and I'll have points and paths. Oh, I'm jumping ahead. I want to get my control panel, and you're going to want yours as well. So I have some stuff here. I'm going to start from scratch in this document, so it's looking a little more like yours. And you only need one artboard. With the black arrow, let's do File, Place. I will go and get the photo that I want to use. It loads it up, and I'm going to click and put it over here in the gray. Immediately, I'm going to make a copy of it. So I'm doing Option, click and drag, because I always want to have the original so I can compare, and I also am able to make different variations of the image trace. So with this one, we'll try some tracing. There are some ready-mades that are up here for tracing, but I want you to go to the window and get the image trace panel so that you have maximum control. You're going to bump open the advanced options, and since we have a specific thing in mind for the accordion book, here's what you're going to need. You're going to want just black and white. You are going to use something here. Right now it has a budding and the other option is overlapping. We want overlapping. Now what that means is if I hit preview and watch this go, if I ended up with any little interior shapes, this selection here of the overlapping means there's going to be a black shape that is solid underneath all of these individual little white ones. Similarly, there's a little black shape there, but underneath there will be a whole white shape, so it won't just poke holes through things. It'll stack up all the different shapes. So I've got that selected, and then I'm going to do, oops, actually with stacked we don't ignore white. Yep, that's fine. Okay, now from here we're going to play around with the threshold, and that's how tolerant it's going to be of what's light or dark, sort of where does it decide, am I committing towards light or towards dark. I'm going to keep increasing this until I have just the sort of outside shape, and once it gets rid of these things, if it looks like it got a little confused or is bumping into some other stuff, then I can dial it back a little. And once it's looking good, oops, keep it selected, pop up here to expand, and if I zoom in, you can see that's all points and paths now. We want only that black shape. So I'm going to use my white arrow, because the black arrow is going to select everything that was traced. But I'm going to use my white arrow, and I'm going to say, let's just get just that shape. I'm going to copy it, come over here and paste it. So I've got something that I can then edit and manipulate. I want you to notice that from my original, I had some stuff that was like grasses and things or snow that was interfering with some hooves. So I might have to do a little bit of work there. And I also have some things that I might want to edit here. Now if I click on this sucker, it might be that an eraser is the best way to go. It also might be that using a white arrow and moving some points around is a way to go. In general, I have so many points defining this thing, and if you think it's more than I want, like I don't want it to be quite so furry, then it means going back and doing a different image trace. So let's option click and drag, pop over, hit the preview again, and play around with what's in advanced on things like fewer corners, so that when you are when you're in here, less on the corners is going to start having a little less here, and lower on the number of paths is also going to start reducing how much specificity you have in there. It's all a matter of those variables. So big X means you haven't yet expanded or committed. Once you do, white arrow, copy, grab it.